What's up, nerds? Alex and Ziggy here again from Sandro Says. Today we're doing something Batman style. We have a Batman box break for Hush. Right now, if you've been following comics, Hush is back for the first time in over 20 years. They're doing another miniseries. Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee are back, so that's pretty awesome. I'm excited about it. I picked up the first two issues. The second issue came out yesterday, April 23rd. So let's see what this box is all about. Hush was a massive series when it first came out in 2002. That's what this box is about. It's from the original Hush. It has nothing to do with the sequel. It was one of my favorite stories of all time. It was right when I was getting back into comics, and Batman, it seemed, hadn't had a massive story since Nightfall, about 10 years before that. They had some great storylines in the interim, but Hush was special. Hush included just about his entire Rogues Gallery. It made some big steps forward for the series and for Batman that have stayed to the present day and even bled into other mediums. So that's been pretty cool, and it's all overall just a really classic story. So I'm excited to dig in these cards, see what we get. As far as what I expect a Batman card. Obviously going to have a Batman card and a Hush card. Those are my two top wishes from this. Hush was actually one of my most coveted DC Direct figures when they were doing them back in 2003 when this line came out. So that was a huge deal. As far as my wish list, though, for this, besides Batman and Hush, because they go without saying. First, Nightwing card. Nightwing had an amazing look in this series, so I'm hoping there's a Nightwing card. Second, I think a Detective Jim Gordon card would be cool. I actually don't know if he was a detective. I reread the book, or the trade paperback a month or two ago, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. So we'll see what we get, but Nightwing, outside of the top two, Nightwing is really what I'm looking for today. I'll see you at the end of the video. If you enjoy it, please remember to leave a like and a subscription if you really enjoyed it and you want to see what I come up with. And please share this video. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, and I'm almost there, so anything helps. All right, let's see what we get. And we are back. Let's dig in and see what Cryptozoic Entertainment has for us. Besides really strong plastic. Okay, cool. Right off the bat. Right off the bat. Fun way to do the box. I like that. Packs look awesome. It's Batman mixed with the Hush logo. It has a cool hologram to it. Look for randomly inserted autograph and brilliance cards. All right, I believe there are 5 cards per pack and 24 packs per box. So let's see what we got here. 5 cards per pack, but 24 per box. I assume these were meant to be sold individually because that's a lot of opening. I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't been back in the... Jeez Louise. All right, I'm going to have to get a knife to make sure I don't mess these up, because that was way stiffer than I expected. All right, cool. Starting with the Joker. Shot by the Joker, I remember that. The Joker gets his ass beat quite a few times over the course of the Hush storylines, so that's fun. Desperate Attack, that appears to be... I don't know if that's Man-Bat? I forget who he attacked. Either way. So these are going... Okay, so it's an alternate cover. I actually had this cover. So that's what we're dealing with so far. We have scenes from the books. This reminds me of the Batman 89 series, to be honest, where it has a little saying, exit stage left. This is a great actual piece of... That's a cool Batman piece right there. It's all by Jim Lee, which is amazing. He didn't just do the covers for the series, which a lot of times they have the big artists do. He did the whole thing. So, cool. Back one. All right, I'm going to get out my trusty mini knife here because I don't want to mess any of these up. And that first pack was crazy. All right. So you have the actual, I mean, sorry if I'm spoiling this for anyone, but the actual mastermind behind the Hush story, the Riddler. So that's pretty awesome. Batman being fired on. It looks like Catwoman is there assisting or fighting off Harley Quinn. Superman dynamic duels. The Superman fight versus Batman in this, it was very reminiscent of in The Dark Knight Returns when when Batman had his original, even though it's set in the future, he had his original power suit. That's the actual Batman from issue, I think it was 618 back in the future. I forget exactly the exact issue number. But it's iconic. The photo, the boots, it's amazing to see this. The colors. This introduced a really iconic look for Batman, which was a mix of the dark and light with the dark symbol on the chest, but the blue, or the dark blue, and then the gray. Probably my favorite card so far. So I'm going to put that up in the... Not upward, I want to put that down here. Special. And the brain surgeon, Tommy Elliott, who we find out might be more than a brain surgeon. All right. Ooh, they made the Joker look very wicked in this. I mean, this is the upright version of the card, and he's upside down, so I'll show it like this so you can see. But Batman damn near beats him to death, if I recall. And that's just one of the looks for it. It's pretty vicious. Ooh, it looks like something of a puzzle piece, perhaps? Not sure what this is. We're going to put this to the side because I do not know what that is. And here's something pretty awesome. It's a Harley Quinn Star Power. It says STRPWR, so I'm going to figure out internet language. Star Power. Star Power number 8. All right, I'll put that also in the hits corner. And then you have Nightwing Helps. This was also from a cover. I believe this was from the variant of the first cover, or perhaps the last cover. There was a Heroes edition, and then there was a Villains edition, so they had the entire cover with Batman and the whole Bat family running across. So that's also going to go in my favorites pile. And Harvey Dent visits Commissioner Gordon, or I forget if he was just James Gordon at this point. And also Harvey Dent in this story is not Two-Face at this time. He is, I forget how, if he went through a Lazarus pit or what, but he's fixed. So it's very strange seeing that. I didn't read enough in the coming years to know if that stayed or if that became, or that was just kind of moved past. I assume by now he became Two-Face again. That was over 20 years ago. Good old Alfred. They always made Alfred look so young in the comics compared to how insanely old he was in the original movies. I like how even Michael Caine clearly was older, man. I like how they aged him down a little bit with Jeremy Irons, and I forget the gentleman who did it in the newest movie, it's what's his name? It's I'm going blank. I'm not even going to talk about it. Annotated T-Rex and giant. I remember there was a large fight in not a fight. They make their comeback shot. There you go. Apparently the T-Rex. Oh, this is from Jim Lee himself. Apparently the T-Rex and Giant Penny were written out of continuity. They make their comeback in the shot to the right. Got to love the bizarre props. It goes to show you how strange Batman's world is. That's pretty awesome. And of course the Tim Drake suit, which comes in pretty large. It looms pretty large in the whole story. Sorry, not Tim Drake. Wow, what am I talking about? That's Jason Todd. Facing Ra's al Ghul, which is what everyone says, but I always liked Ra's because that's what I heard in the Batman movie. Batman Begins. But if it's Ra's, it's Ra's. Batman looks like he's damn near on fire there, which is pretty awesome. And from the Lazarus Pit, the fake Jason Todd. Or was it the real one? It's not exactly clear if it's Jason Todd or Clayface during the fight, or if Clayface takes control of, or if he morphs into him at the end, or what. There's really no I don't know if they ever came out and said that. Maybe it's going to be explained in this version of Hush. Who knows? There's the Scarecrow. So you're getting all of Batman's classic characters, and I would hope so with 120 some odd cards. But Harvey Dent and Bruce Wayne. So there's Harvey Dent showing himself to the Joker with his face fixed. And then there's Bruce Wayne unmasking himself with the Catwoman. This was the start of their relationship. Another alternate cover. I believe this was, I forget, I think this was issue 2 or 3 because it has when Huntress came to save the day. Or I believe she had her mind being controlled. I don't remember exactly what happened at this point, but they really involved everyone in Batman's universe at the time. I'm not sure who Harold is, but Batman forgave him. Maybe Houdini. And the Riddler. This was a classic cover. This was the Riddler basically placing his pieces. All right. Mysterious figure. That, I think, is Hush. Yep. That's Hush himself in a very interesting piece of art where you can barely make out who it is, but you can see the Batarang, which gives you a little hint that it's at least someone from Batman's past. Rescuing Edward. Batman looks so good throughout this entire series. This was just definitive of a look for him. The suit, the darkness of everything. Ooh, this looks like another part of a puzzle. I don't know what this is. I'll have to put that together later, perhaps, or at least see what I have. Go Catwoman and a cat in the cave. When Catwoman got to explore the Batcave, much like Vicky Vale. A costumed Vicky Vale, if you will. All right, cruising right along. Let's see what we get. Clashing Titans. That's, I believe, another cover from when Superman was under Poison Ivy's control, but we didn't know yet. So it was really like, why was Superman just beating the crap out of Batman? And that's from the scene earlier I mentioned where Batman darn near kills the Joker. I believe he has to be stopped by Commissioner Gordon. Here's Batman versus the Joker in that same scene. They really are enjoying playing up that battle. But that's especially because Joker's not even the biggest foe in this entire storyline. Let's see what Jim Lee has to say about Nee's Pharmacy. The pharmacy is named after John Nee, former bigwig at Wildstorm, currently a bigwig at DC. Below that sign is a diner named after my wife. Now that's pretty cool. That's the Nee, and then there's Angie's. So Jim Lee showing out for his wife. Pretty awesome. And here's Batman, and if you can see, he has almost like a red set of eyes on it when he's examining for clues. Ash from the Lazarus Pit. The Lazarus Pit played such a huge part in this storyline. Alright. Straight across. There we go. Batman and Ra's al Ghul. Poison Ivy when she was influencing poor Superman. It's amazing that even with her influence, Superman was still subconsciously fighting it off. It's Essentials. I'm going to put that in that same corner over there. Saving Louis. That was how they actually broke Superman out of the spell. I believe Catwoman took Lois Lane and threw her off the building. A risky move because, for many reasons, if it failed, then they would have, she would have died, and then Catwoman probably would have been splattered minutes after. All right. Batman taking a fall. Love the art there. Batman stands out against that background amazingly. It's almost like the ground is bathed in that light from a spotlight, even though it's nighttime. It's another classic cover. It's basically showing Hush, and then in the next foreground, Jason Todd's skeleton, and then Batman. That's just terrifying. It's an alternate cover. I don't know which one this is from, but that's an amazing sketch. That's beautiful with the moon in the background. Batman again showing off with Jason Todd, the second Robin. It was Clayface mimicking the role. This was when he wasn't sure if Jason Todd was actually alive or not. And then taking Talia head. Not sure what that means. Well, I always assumed it was Talia al Ghul, but okay. You learn something new every day with these things. Alright, next reveal. Haunted by the Past. I believe that's a first double I've seen tonight, so that's not too bad. Love Realized. These two were always meant for each other, I think. It's always been hinted at, but Hush really hammered it home. Dynamic Duels. Catwoman versus Harley Quinn. They beat the crap out of each other in this series. But Catwoman, I mean, Batman needed her for this. If not, he would have been screwed. Cat on Ivy. And Little Bird. That is when Tim Drake and Catwoman had to be separated. Good old third Robin at that point. He wasn't Red Robin yet. There was no Damian Wayne at this point in time. Oracle's Clock Tower. Alright. I'm going to start making a new pile here. Future Nightmare. Now that's a really cool sketch. Showing Catwoman, I believe, having fallen in battle, which is sad. Now this is fun. What is this? Why was it stuck to the other card? Not sure. A crazy hologram. I don't know what it even is supposed to be, if I'm being honest. Okay, there we go. Starting to make something out. Looks like claws and then a building. I don't know what in the world that is, so I'm going to put that to the side. Another alternate cover. I believe that's I have a statue of this actual cover, which is pretty nice. And enter Harley Quinn. Or as my old roommate would call her, Harley Quinn. And he was an adult, but he did not like pronouncing Quinn, I guess. I don't actually know the reasoning for it. He was strange. This is when Jim Gordon intervened and shot Batman to keep him from killing the Joker. Jim Gordon was always the man. Again, the mysterious figure. We've seen that before. A nice alternate cover of Batman and his lady on the town. Reversed roles, another double. And a cat in the cave. So now we're starting to get in some doubles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a few packs and we're going to fast forward. And I'm going to reveal a grouping. Instead of opening up individual ones, I'm going to open a bunch. So through the magic of editing, let's speed up. And we're back. I just figured with 5 cards per pack, it was getting a little tedious doing the openings, so I would just start rapid fire. Especially because we were getting into doubles territory. Robin, Mad Catwoman, Cat on the Ivy. At this point, since I've gotten the cards I care about, I'm really just looking for hits. Hidden Jokers. The grave of Jason Todd, which was empty. Definitely let Batman know something was awry. Batman doing some kind of VR. I guess he was Iron Man even before Iron Man was Iron Man. See, all the great ideas have already been done. Busted Ivy. Ooh, another piece of the puzzle. I don't know how I'm supposed to build that. We'll look into that later. Dynamic duel. Lady Shiva versus Catwoman. Classic. Looks like Alfred doing some type of mass... Oh, this was, I think, when... Was this when he had the brain injury and they had to put his skull back together? So they actually went and found Tommy Elliott? That's what kicked this whole thing off. They always make Lois Lane look gorgeous in these comics, let's be honest. I remember in the Wedding comic back in the day. Oh, good lord. That's when Killer Croc was having some type of mutation and he was having trouble controlling himself. That's a cool card. Again, Poison Ivy. Was she the mastermind? No. They were all being played like chess pieces. There's Killer Croc. Okay, so now we have another puzzle piece, but this one... So they're all... I assume they're different covers. So we're going to see what we have at the end with those. Alternate cover. Ooh, that's a beautiful Hush card. Look at that. Dual wielding, as he's come to know. Metropolis, which it looks like that features Alan Scott. I'm not sure why. Young Thomas Elliott. Interesting. So that was when they were kids. They saw Alan Scott flying by, which is pretty awesome. Superman attacking. You have the vines growing over him. And as you can see, actually, let me not put that away so quick. Batman there with the kryptonite ring. That becomes kind of a more well-known item. Originally, I think, appeared in Tower of Babel, but... Clutches of the Killer Croc. Robin. It's, I think, the first time the trick of Jason Todd was on screen. And they got rid of that streak in his hair, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but it did look strange. Batman was always prepared to knock out Superman. Always prepared. That's what makes Batman Batman, because he's always prepared to take on the difficult tasks. Oh, they're making out. Run in the moonlight. That's how you got to do it. Especially if you're Batman and or Catwoman. All right. Rescuing Edward, we've seen that. We've seen Batman Falls. Here's another piece of a cover. I'm not sure which one. Could be any of them. They do have numbers on the back. So this is Z2, and this is Z1. Okay, so these two go together. Perfect. Which way goes which? Not sure, but they go together. But let's see if this is a Z also. This is Z7, so yeah, never mind. Never mind. We'll just have to take stock at the end. Now I'm actually just curious if we get any more of those. It's kind of becoming a game. There's Nightwing kicking the crap out of the Riddler's goons. Another alternate cover. Huntress finds Batman. Crossing paths. Hush. Really a cool design. Kind of basic, but it worked in the Batman universe. Catman would be pretty interesting too. Here's another cover. If I had to guess, we'll deal with those at the end. So I have to go through my pile and see what other ones we have. House call. Hey, there are those copters from Outside Arkham from page 7. Jeff sets up stuff like that all the time. Smart. They work well together. I remember in Wizard magazine, when this was coming out, they were making a big deal about them working together. It was like they had power rankings of the artists and the storytellers at the time, the writers, and they were at the top as this was about to come out, so it's pretty interesting. There's another one of these. This looks like the bottom of it. Alright, Batman finally battling Hush. That's awesome. Put that over here. I don't know why. Batman versus Killer Croc. He even looks, as you can see, he's even more mutated there than he was in the earlier picture. Alternate covers. Say goodbye. Nothing special. Nothing too special. Harold's Grave. Annotated Shadows of the Bat. Cat fight. Well, really, Catwoman just beating the crap out of Harley Quinn. Hush silenced. I'm not sure if he got shot. Oh, yeah, that's when Harvey Dent shot him. Perfect. All right, cool. So now let's clean up the board and see what these puzzle pieces look like. If I can even get 2 of them together, I'll be happy. Okay, so we have... Problem is I also can't tell which side's which. Because this looks like... This is where Batman would be. He's on this one, if I recall. We're doing it this way. Let's see if I have any of those over here. Nope. So this is the Heroes cover. And this was the Villains cover, if I recall. Was it? Oh, maybe not. Excuse me. So this wouldn't be here at all. I see Batman's cape over there, so I'm going to assume this. To start, who knows? Oh, there we go. Okay, so we got the Catwoman. I don't know if that goes there. We will find out. And if not, this is a fun thing to try to complete. I'm not sure why this would be different. Let's see here. Is this a Z? It is a Z. Oh, I didn't notice this is numbered. Excuse me. This is numbered 1 out of 50. Did not notice that at first. That's a big hit. Nice. Not sure if you can see the 1. It's at the top there. 1 out of 50. That's awesome. As far as where it goes, I have no idea. Oh, there we go. Let's get these out of the way. So it's part of the puzzle piece, but it's reflective, so that's interesting. And then the back of these, I don't know what in the world they would be. We can look at that after, but hey, looks like I got, so far, 6 of the 9. Seven of the 9. Doubles for that. And hey, I am missing 1 piece to complete the puzzle. Not too bad. Ironically, the piece is Batman, so that's probably the hardest piece to get. I will have to go through this again to see if I actually got him. But I think this was a massive hit. This alone is something that I could put together and frame. I would probably not frame the 1. I would frame this one. But yeah, that alone is a pretty awesome piece of art. So this was a great box. Definitely something outside the ordinary. But I think it goes to show you just how big of a storyline Hush was in the pantheon of Batman. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. I certainly did. This was awesome. This really was the big hit. But I had a great time with all these cards. So I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, a subscribe, and share to any of your nerd friends like us that might enjoy this. Otherwise, see you next time.